I don't like ABA. Whenever I do videos on how I do not condone ABA, it does follow with some harassment from BCBAs themselves, and also neurotypical parents who have kids who are autistic. But not once, not once have I ever been told by an autistic person to stop speaking out about it. Never, not once. And I think that speaks volumes. You can find tons of literature online as to how like ABA is traumatizing, it can be abusive, even modern day ABA. It's not like it's just like it was back then. Modern day tactics. My son was in ABA for a very long time. When my son was first diagnosed, we had, I believe it was a BCBA and a case manager come to our house and talk to us about ABA. My son's father and I wanted to discuss it first and look at other options just to see what was out there. And they told us, well, you can do that if you want, but we will have to put a report in for medical neglect. Later, I found out that this is completely untrue and unfounded. I mean, they could report medical neglect all they want, but it's not a legal issue for a kid to be an ABA. They don't need to be an ABA, at least in my state anyways. I started noticing red flags early on, and I really wish that I took them more seriously. For instance, they would reward my son with basic needs such as food and drink, which means that they had to withhold it from him because in order to reward somebody for doing something you're like, ecstatic about, you had to withhold it at some point. Not okay. And you will see a large number of parents and ABA therapists and BCBAs on here who say, well, my practice isn't like that. Not everybody's like that. My son has had about 4 different BCBAs. He has had, oh my gosh, I couldn't even tell you, probably like 15 to 20 ABA therapists. Not to mention, I mean, he's had ABA in public school. The model that ABA is built on is ableist and it's traumatizing, and that's the issue. Another issue is insurance companies, because a lot of parents, they have no option. ABA is the only treatment method that's going to get covered. Obviously, this isn't the case in every scenario, but in a lot of scenarios, insurance companies only recognize ABA as like an adequate form of treatment for autism. And it's hard because as much as I think ABA is not a good road to go down, I also don't think it should be recommended to have no support at all. My son still has interventions. He has OT, PT, speech outside of school and in school. He has feeding therapy, sometimes functional support. My advice would be to look at all options. But when it comes to ABA, it's a no from me. I have so many more stories, but that's it for now.